The night was alive in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, inside the Grand King Power Stadium, where the air carried a sense of history in the making. Fans from across the globe filled the stands, flags waving, voices rising, as if the very heartbeat of two nations pulsed beneath the bright arena lights. On one side stood Lucas Matthysse, Argentina's heavy-handed warrior, a man known for ending fights with a single thunderous punch. His eyes were cold, his jaw tight, his body carved by years of hard battles. He was the WBA welterweight champion, carrying not just a belt, but a reputation as one of the division's most dangerous men. On the other side, Manny Pacquiao, the living legend, the pride of the Philippines. At 39 years old, questions surrounded him. Could the Pac-Man still devour opponents like he once did? Could he summon the same ferocity that once destroyed giants across 8 weight classes? This wasn't just about victory. This was about redemption, legacy, and proving that time had. The crowd thundered when Pacquiao entered, his trademark grin on his face, his aura glowing with experience and confidence. Yet behind that smile was steel. This fight mattered. It was his chance to silence doubts, to reclaim not only a title, but the aura of invincibility that had made him a global icon. The bell rang. Matthysse stalked forward with his jab, his right hand cocked like a loaded gun. Pacquiao darted side to side, his legs light, his eyes locked, measuring, studying, waiting for the storm. A fight had begun, and every second carried the promise of violence, the weight of history, and the roar of a crowd ready to witness something unforgettable. From the opening exchanges, it was clear Pacquiao's speed had not faded. He zipped in with a double jab, followed by a lightning-quick left straight, snapping Mathisse's head back. The Argentine tried to stand firm, pawing with his jab, hoping to find range for the bomb in his right hand. But every time he thought he had an opening, Pacquiao was gone, circling, darting, attacking from impossible angles. At ringside, commentators marveled at the blur of combinations. 3, 4, 5 punches in succession. Pacquiao wasn't just fighting. He was painting a masterpiece with his fists. Still, Matthysse was no easy prey. His fists carried menace, and every jab he threw seemed heavy enough to bruise. The crowd gasped each time he launched a right, even when it missed. They knew, and Pacquiao knew. One clean shot could change everything. Yet, the Filipino icon refused to slow down. He'd push the tempo, cutting angles, landing left hooks to the body, right jabs upstairs, mixing speed with precision. The pace was furious, but it was Pacquiao dictating the terms. By the end of round 2, a rhythm had emerged. Pacquiao was the aggressor, throwing combinations in flurries, while Matthysse waited, patient, searching for a window that never came. The fans could sense the tension building, like a storm waiting to break, and then came round 3. Pacquiao stepped in close, dipped his shoulder, and ripped a left uppercut straight up the middle. It landed flush. Matthysse's eyes widened, his legs buckled, and down he went. The crowd erupted, a wave of sound crashing through the stadium. Pacquiao had struck gold, proving to the world that even at 39, his hands carried the same venom as ever. Matthysse rose, but doubt had crept into his corner. The legend was alive, and he was hungry. After the knockdown in the third, Matthisse's game plan began to unravel. He grew cautious, hesitant, as if each movement carried the weight of fear. Pacquiao smelled it. He pressed forward, peppering him with jabs, slicing through his guard with left straights, and finishing combinations with hooks to the body. The Argentinian champion tried to fire back, winning right hands, but Pacquiao's head movement and angles kept him a step ahead. The fight was turning into a showcase of skill versus brute force, and the skill was dominating. In round 5, Pacquiao delivered another dagger. A quick exchange ended with a snapping left hand that forced Matthysse to his knees. This was the Pacquiao of old, relentless, smiling yet merciless. Round after round, the Filipino legend reminded the world why his name still mattered. His footwork was sharp, his hands still quicker than lightning, his punches landing with accuracy that Matthysse couldn't answer. The crowd fed on his energy, each cheer growing louder, each gasp echoing through the rafters as the punches rained in. Matthysse tried to bite down, tried to let his heavy hands go, but every attempt was smothered, every plan disrupted. This was no longer just a fight. It was a lesson in speed, skill, and the will of a champion refusing to fade. The tension grew heavier, the feeling unmistakable. Something dramatic was building, and the end was drawing near. By the 7th round, the air was thick with inevitability. Pacquiao was not just winning, he was dominating. Matthysse's face bore the marks of battle, his spirit worn down by the storm of punches he could neither evade nor answer. Pacquiao, ever the predator, kept circling, probing, landing shots that pierced the guard, each one heavier than the last. His rhythm was intoxicating. The crowd clapping in rhythm with his combinations, chanting his name as if willing him to finish what he started. Then came the final break. Pacquiao stepped in, feinted low, then ripped another thunderous left uppercut right through Matthysse's defenses. The punch landed with brutal clarity, snapping Matthysse's head back. His knees buckled, his body sagged, and down he went again, for the 3rd time in the fight. This time, there was no mistaking it. The Argentinian warrior sat on the canvas, eyes dazed, beaten not just by fists, but by speed, will, and the aura of greatness in front of him. The referee waved it off, signaling the end. Arena exploded. Fans jumped to their feet, flags waving, voices echoing in unison. Pacquiao raised his hands, his smile wide as if he had turned back the clock to his prime. This wasn't just a win. It was a statement. It silenced the doubters, proving that even at 39, the Pac-Man could still destroy, still dominate, still captivate the world. Matthysse, brave but broken, had been stopped by a legend reborn. When the dust settled, the official announcement came. 2 minutes and 43 seconds of round number 7. The winner, by technical knockout, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. The crowd erupted once more, a sound that shook the very ground. The Filipino icon stood in the center of the ring, draped in his nation's flag, his fists raised, his smile stretching ear to ear. At nearly 40 years of age, he had done what many thought impossible. He had returned to form with a knockout that reminded the world of his greatness. This victory was more than just another number on his record. It was proof of resilience, of passion, of a fighter who refused to let time write the final chapter of his story. Pacquiao had faced younger men, stronger men, and bigger men across his career, but Matthysse was a dangerous champion, and Pacquiao had dismantled him with The Philippines celebrated. The boxing world bowed its head in respect, and even Matthysse, beaten and humbled, knew he had faced something extraordinary. For Pacquiao, this fight was a reminder, not just to fans, but to himself, that he still belonged, that his fists still carried fire, and that his place among the greatest of all time was untouched. As the cameras flashed and the crowd chanted his name, Pacquiao stood as more than a fighter. He was a symbol of perseverance, of national pride, and of the kind of greatness that only comes once in a lifetime. On that night in Malaysia, he wasn't just a boxer. He was timeless.